Hello and welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again for another night of Facebook Live. I'd also like to take time to recognize those that catch the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. I am your host, Tricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. It is indeed a blessing to be here with you tonight, as tonight we're continuing with our Why series, and it just explains the why behind the products and services that I have and that I offer. Tonight's Why series, we're going to talk about youth education programs. Youth education programs. And I just want to give a little insight on how or why youth education programs are so important to our community and how you can get involved or create programs within your own organizations or groups. So guys, I appreciate you joining me, and as you are logging on with me tonight, please go ahead and like and share this video. Like and share the video. Also feel free to comment and engage with me. I really enjoy engaging back and forth with you guys and chatting with you guys. And also, if you have questions as I sit here and just explain a little bit with you tonight, if you have questions, feel free to ask me those questions there in the comment section or in the chat box. So again, we're another night of our Why series, and guys, I try to break these down one by one because I want to keep the video short and sweet. I don't want to bore you long with talking about each and every product or service that I offer, because over the 17 years that I've been in business or been operating nonprofits and growing and developing as a person, my businesses, my products, my services have also expanded. But one of the things that hold true is that I believe that youth education programs are so important and so vital to the future of our communities. And what I do is just a small fraction of the need and those things that should be done. And we know we have services like Boys and Girls Club, um, and there are some churches that are also, hey Diane, how are you, honey? You've made my day today, I tell you. And I love you, and I appreciate you being here to support me and being here and showing your love. Um, Youth education programs, if we even have some churches that offer a place for youth to go and have a place to belong. Now, the services that I provide for youth are going to look a little different than what you see at a Boys and Girls Club or at a, say, a religious organization who offer youth services, a place for kids to hang out and to engage socially. Now, the social aspect of the youth development is important. However, my focus in my youth programs is to break the cycles of illiteracy and poverty. And so everything I do with the youth, and when I'm coming up with programs and thinking about the curriculum and how I'm engaging them and helping and assisting them, it's all about breaking the cycle of poverty and breaking the cycle of illiteracy. And we do that by reaching the kids. Now, initially, when I started the education programs, it was all geared toward the adults. But I realized, even doing that, if the adults didn't have the skills to take and apply it to their households, we were still going to have a generation left in the gap. So I reached back to reach the youth and develop youth programs. And like I said, I'm a small organization. The facility we have, there's a limited space, and there are only so many that we can assist at one time. So I'm just touching just a fraction of what can really be going on in our communities and the impact that we can make. But I am glad that for the families that we do impact throughout the year, because we offer something all year, and we give breaks, 1 or 2 week breaks, or 3 weeks breaks here and there. But for the most part, the kids that are enrolled in my youth programs, we're hitting it throughout the year. Why is this important that we have a youth program that kids can engage throughout the year? Well, it's important because cycles of illiteracy, that means cycles of kids that can't read and comprehend, parents that can't read and comprehend, grandparents that can't read and comprehend, and extended family members that cannot read and comprehend, creates and continues to generate low income. What does low income generate? It means that we're probably not homeowners. It means we're probably working low income jobs that require little to no skill. We're probably making minimum wage. We're probably poor health. We're probably substance use and abuse. So a lot of effects come along with not being able to read and comprehend. Because as a result of not being able to read and comprehend comes a mindset. Hey, Minister Wright, how are you? Glad you're here with me tonight. Does that thumbs up mean you agree with what I just said? So, in order to break this cycle, we must keep education important, or we must make it a priority in the lives of our kids. So our kids need a education or a curriculum that is relative to their life as they know it. And the only way I can do that, and the only way that I can ensure that they have the skills and the tools that they need to get to that next level. Awesome. Yes, because it is the truth. And many of us don't believe that. Many of us either don't know it or we don't believe it. So we need these programs to impact the change that we need in our families. So when we make it a priority, and when we show our kids how important education is to their future and to their lives right now, and when we show them education in a whole new way, it begins to create the shift in the mindset. So a child who comes from a family that may not have books in the home, a child that comes from that kind of family who shows that education is not a priority, or it's not on the forefront of the conversations at the dinner table or the sofa, then it begins to create that shift, and that kid begins to see that I hold the power to create change or impact change for the generations that come after me. And when you give a child a curriculum or education, and you begin to immerse them in that education, they begin to really buy in. They begin to buy in on this stuff. I really need it. It makes a difference. So this is why education programs are important. Now, one of the things that I like to include in my education programs is being able to take my kids on different trips to different areas. I guess the school would call them a field trip. I like to take them places to not only teach them about science, but take them to a science museum or to a place where they can learn and actually get hands-on and engage in the things that they're actually learning, so that they can see that not only am I just reading something on paper and asked to comprehend it, but now I can see it. And so what this does for a child with illiteracy or learning disabilities or learning limitations, what that does to a child at that point is begin to bring it alive. And they begin to really think beyond the words itself. So that's important to our kids, and I've always felt like it's important, because when you have learners that struggle in school, school is not the only place that they're struggling. Because I can almost bet you, if you have a child that is struggling in school, they're struggling at home, struggling socially, and they're struggling to really find their place to where they belong. So when you have a child that feels a certain way, or feel like they can't get it, or that they're different, or that they're an outcast, you have behaviors that go along with that. So the way we offset that is giving them a place to where they all belong. And when we have them there in that place, we're also able to implement social skills as it relates to real life. We're able to implement financial education, which is highly important. So not only are we teaching them about the value of a dollar and how to build a business to make a dollar, or for them to understand money and numbers and credit and things like that, but we're able to do it in a way that they enjoy it, and that they really begin to think about what it is, that money is not just something that we take to the store and spend. Money is a resource that affords them opportunity. So we're able to do that as a nonprofit, and that's important. So the younger that we get kids to look at that, the younger they are, the more impact we're making, the more behaviors we are creating. You know, we're conditioning them to think a certain way. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So they're getting that education now. And so we're able to expand and grow every year. Every year we're able to expand and grow. Another youth education program that I offered before all this were workshops. And they were for back to school. And it immersed them into science and technology and things like that. But now I implement it right there in the facility where we're at. And we have awesome volunteers that are there to make sure that the learning is going forth and that the kids are engaged in the process of making education a priority for their lives. Now, I said that I only touch a fraction. Now, I said that to say this: there are more need than there is opportunity, even here in this small community where I'm at. And there are many of our religious organizations that have room. There are many groups that have room, and they have people. And all I'm going to say is, now that you understand how important youth education programs are to our community, what are you going to do about it? Or what can you do about it? Because this is a discussion, especially with the things that are going on in our world today, that we really need to take a look at as it relates to our children. Because yes, they're going to use our kids as test dummies to go back into school, into the school buildings, and I do mean test dummies, because they don't know the effect that it's going to have. And I said over and over again, we're putting our kids on the front line. Not only that, our educators too. So what are you in your religious organization, or you in your women's group, or you in your place of employment, what are y'all going to do about it? Because it's easy to sit back and just let the school educate our kids. But even with that, there is so much more that we can do. And it does not take a whole lot of money, but it will take your love, your support, and your time. And if you're in a women's group or a religious organization or something like that, you already have the people there. It shouldn't have to take up much of your time. And most of us, we're not really doing anything anyway after the kids get out of school. Think about how many of our kids, when they get out of school, they're going home to an empty house, nothing to eat, no supervision, nobody to help with their homework. So think about the dynamics of this. If you just allow them a place to go 2 days a week or 3 days a week, it can make a big difference. It can really make a big difference just for that child after school to have somewhere that they can go and feel safe and have somebody there to support them and to assist them with their academic needs. And you know, many kids, some of them can probably do the work or could probably engage and help one another with the work, that some of us that feel like we're not academically sound, that we can help them. You know, when you got a child that's pretty sharp, just giving that child somewhere, a place to go, and then having that child help another child, that increases learning. That enhances the learning of the child. It also gives them some social skills. So it's a win-win situation. So it's probably not a whole lot you have to know. And I know that there are retired teachers out here. I know that there are people that are willing to help. But you have to be the one to offer the services. Now, if you want to know, well, how can I do that? And how can I get people to come in and help? Well, there's places that will pay people to come and work for you. They will pay volunteers, and you don't even have to look for it to get those workers. Those workers are already in your organization. So I have people working for me, and I get them from those particular organizations. And there's a way that it's a win-win for all of us. I get the workers and the employees that I need. The workers get the pay and the benefits and stuff that they need. And we're all there together, living out and fulfilling a purpose for the future of our youth. So you can look and say, well, we got Boys and Girls Club and we got this one doing that. But think about it. We're only impacting just a small fraction of our youth, and there's so much more we can do. So think about your daycares, think about your churches, think about your centers, think about the jobs that you have. What can you do for our youth to make a greater impact and to keep our youth from falling in the gap, especially when we have so many year after year with special needs and limitations that impact their learning in a major way. So this is why I offer it. And if you are an organization or a center or something out there and you want to know more about how you can do this and how you can get people into work and make sure they get paid and things like that for their time, message me, give me a call. I'll be glad to share that information with you. We can sit and talk. Nonetheless, sitting there and doing nothing, you're going to still get the same results that we've been getting. So let's start to impact our kids' life in a major way. Let them know education is important. And if you'd like to support my organization, as so many of you have already, and I appreciate that, I'm going to put our website there in the comment section. If you go to our website and go to the link that says donate, you can donate any amount of your choice. Each donation that you give or provide is highly accepted and appreciated. Also, you can drop by our local location on the east entrance of the public library, and you can leave your donations there as well. So I appreciate you guys for sitting here with me tonight as I share with you my why behind providing youth education programs year-round for the youth in our local communities. And like I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out. I'd be glad to answer your questions and help you get a youth education program set up in your establishment. All right, guys, it's been real. I am your host, Tricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. Good night, everybody.